You're listening to the Inside the Mix podcast with your host, Mark Matthews.
Hello folks, and welcome to a festive edition of Inside the Mix. A big welcome to any new listeners and viewers, and of course a big welcome back to the returning listeners and viewers. Now this episode kicks off a festive series of podcast episodes where I'm sharing with you folks some of my favorite podcasts, and each of these podcasts has had a representative appear on Inside the Mix. And we are kicking off the series with the Sound Discussion podcast. Now, Nate Kelms from the Sound Discussion podcast featured on Inside the Mix episode 197, Why I Don't Touch Plugins Before Doing This, the Art of Static Mixing. So go and check that episode out once you've listened to this one. The Sound Discussion episode I'm sharing with you is titled From Intern to Grammy Winner, Dan Millis shares his mastering journey. So in this episode, the guys at Sound Discussion podcast welcome Dan Millis. He's a mastering engineer who has made waves in the music industry with his meticulous approach and impressive portfolio. So he's based in New York City, and he's worked with artists such as A$AP Rocky, Dolly Parton, Julian Lage, and he's earned a Grammy as well. So he earned a Grammy in 2023. So in this episode, Dan discusses the importance of serving the song and the unique challenges that come with mastering different genres of music. And they also touch on insights into his workflow, and Dan emphasizes the significance of personal connections in the industry and how networking has played a vital role in his success. So, again, this is From Intern to Grammy Winner, Dan Millis shares his mastering journey. Now, before we dive into this episode, folks, I still want your input on what you want to see and hear from Inside the Mix in 2026. So please do click that link in the episode description. Give me some feedback on what you want to see and hear, maybe what you want to see less of in 2026. And also share your win as well and get featured on episode 227. So without further ado, Sound Discussion podcast, From Intern to Grammy Winner, Dan Millis shares his mastering journey.
Hi, and welcome to Sound Discussion. Each episode, we discuss a music topic which we have all had first-hand experience with. These will be anything from getting started, recording, playing live, mixing, mastering, and everything in between. Most episodes, we will have a special guest to bring their professional experience to the discussion. So, let's get started.
This month, our guest is an award-winning, highly sought-after mastering engineer based in New York City, known for his meticulous attention to detail and his guiding principle, serve the song. He earned a Grammy in 2023 for his work on New Standards Volume 1 by Terry Lynn Carrington, which won Best Jazz Instrumental Album. In addition to this win, he has been nominated 15 times and counting. His portfolio boasts work with A$AP Rocky, Dolly Parton, Julian Lage, the Blind Boys of Alabama, Bella Fleck, and so many more. I can't even list them. So go to his website to check out the full discography. Beyond mastering, he offers one-on-one mix advice and critiques, ensuring artists achieve the best possible mix before mastering. His dedication to quality and collaboration is at the heart of everything he does, which brings us right back to where we started. Serve the song. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Sound Discussion our guest this month, Dan Millis.
Woo! Whoa, that was awesome. Thank you.
No, thank you, man.
Thanks, Nate.
It's been a long time that I wanted to have you on, and the time is now. So here we are.
Yeah, really excited to talk about it. It's going to be good.
Yeah, this is going to be really good.
And before we go any further, I mean, the A$AP Rocky Dolly Parton mashup is something that's top of my list.
You should get them together, dude.
Yeah.
You should totally send them a note.
It's like the degrees of separation Kevin Bacon thing.
Oh, yeah,
Exactly.
6 degrees or 7 degrees or whatever.
It's one. Just one.
Just
One
one.
degree.
I will connect them.
So, Dan, if you wouldn't mind, for people who don't know who you are, which I'm sure a lot of people don't know who you are, most mastering engineers fly under the radar for most music lovers, even studio professionals. I'll start by saying this before I have you launch into who you are. When I was putting together the intro that I read, I was looking through all of your records that you mastered, which is stupid impressive. Just the amount of records you mastered in 2023 alone. I was scrolling for 5 straight minutes.
Thanks, man.
Like, it was ridiculous. Anyway, one of my absolute top 10 records, and that is a hard list to make onto. I did not know you mastered. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, shit. My buddy Dan mastered that record?
Which one
Julian
is it?
Lage, Arclight.
Oh, my gosh.
That record changed my life. And if anyone is interested, if you're at all curious about who Julian Lage is, just Google him. But check out Arclight, and specifically, my favorite song is the very last track on that record. Go and listen to it. But
Oh, man.
dude,
I'm so happy
when I
that-
saw that you mastered that, I was like, that makes complete sense, and it is now like my number 1 record. So there you go.
Oh, man. It's probably in my top 10 as well as a fan. Julian is just ungodly talented, hardworking, sweet, like the nicest person you'll ever meet.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, so it's and he's everywhere now, you know, and totally well deserved. Huge Julian Lage fan as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to hear about how you get connected with artists like Julian Lage. But go ahead and tell everyone a little bit about who you are, how you got started, and just sort of bring us up to speed.
For sure, yeah. And thanks again for having me on. I'm like obsessed with the Jake Fader episode. I've listened to it multiple times. I'm biased because he's the Lee Turner as well. Ian's episode was really good. So
No, thank you.
yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. But yeah, I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina originally, and just at a young age, you know, just was really into music and buying CD, or, you know, my dad taking me to buy a new band's new CD, you know, cutting open the shrink wrap, getting little pieces of tape stuck everywhere because it's never like a clean cut, you know?
No.
And rifling through the artwork and reading the notes and not knowing any of the names except maybe like the band members, and you know, seeing like Sears Sound or Electric Lady Studios or Olympic or, you know, anywhere, you know, Abbey Road, all these names, and just kind of not you know, not overanalyzing it or anything, but just kind of taking note at an early age, and trying my hand at being in a band, and making our own CD, you know, like that. My first experience doing that was in high school, and getting to the point where I was like making my own recordings, recording for my friends.
Okay.
And just kind of like learning as you go, and working with buddies on stuff, and just being like, oh man, I love this. I'm obsessed, you know? And got to the point where it was like, okay, you need to go to college, you know? And so I looked at a few colleges, and there's this great university in North Carolina called Appalachian State University, and they have a music industries program. Sounded like, you know, the coolest thing. And it's different from like a trade school program. You know, it's an actual bachelor's degree. You know, it's like a 4-year degree. You have to take English, you have to take math, you know, science, PE. I had to take PE. Wow. It's real college. You know, it's like a real college. The football team.
I went to a real college, damn it.
Right. Like I went, yeah, exactly. And but they have a great music school.
Wow.
It's called the Hayes School of Music. And so I auditioned for that. I'm sure that I was kind of rubbish, if I'm being totally honest about it. Like I sang like an Italian opera to audition.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know you sang.
I don't. That's the funny part. But yeah, no, I wasn't good enough on guitar, at least in my mind. Maybe I could have prepared a piece, but I knew that there would be a sight reading. Anyways, this is probably way more than you guys bargained for here, but
No, it's all right.
yeah, auditioned for the music school, got in as a vocal you had to claim an instrument. So I was like, okay, well, let's do voice. I'll sing bass and I'll stand in the back. And if that'll get me in the recording studio, then so be it. Oh, you have to have a tuxedo? All right, cool. We'll go buy a tuxedo so I can sing in the performances or whatever. And, so I just like jumped through the hoops that I had to do to get into the recording studio at App. And yeah, just fully immersed myself in the program, like was in every club possible, was like the president of I was very involved, and I just like I really got every penny's worth of my experience there. And they start you from the beginning, and it's like music theory and basics of audio and transducers and blah blah blah. They start you from the beginning, and then they build you up, and eventually you can record a full band and mix their record. A little bit of mastering, not a ton. But you leave the program with a bachelor's degree, which is essentially what my parents, I think, wanted me to, traditional college degree. And this, foundation and etiquette and stuff, like my professor, Scott Wynn, who is still there. And he's one of my greatest influences. He tells you what not to do, so he tells you what is good and also what is not good to do, in a studio. And so you enter with like a nice foundation, and the last part of the program is you have to get an internship. It's not it's mandatory. It's the final semester of your 4-year is, eighth semester or whatever it is. I think it was my 9th, but, you go get an internship, and it can't be in town. It can't be like down the street at it's gotta be a real internship, and it's still technically college. So, with the help of my parents, I moved to New York. I did not have an internship lined up. I just knew that once I got there, I would be able to maybe find one. And if I didn't, I'd come back, a failure. But
give it a college try.
Right. So, and I didn't know if I was going to end up in New York forever or not. I just knew that was where I was going to do my internship. And so I got to New York, and I lived at the 92nd Street Y. That was my first place that I lived in New York, and New Yorkers think that's totally crazy. But it's just a dorm that you can live in for the summer when you're on an internship.
I mean, it's perfect.
It was awesome. So anyways, fast forward, a lot of the studios I applied to just had never heard of Appalachian State University. They were like, what's the place called? And it's small. It's like in the mountains of North Carolina. It's small. It's not,
It's not well known.
It doesn't have a name behind it. It doesn't have any cred.
Yeah, unless you're like a hardcore college football fan and know about that one upset that they had over the big school, like you've never heard of Appalachian State for the most part. So anyways, I tried not to take that too personally, but I applied to a bunch of studios. I could name them. And the one that I got that I was really, really interested in was at MasterDisc. And they were a traditional mastering house, and one of probably the last of their kind, with the exception of the handful that are still around today. So jumped at that. I dove into that full on, and that that was traditional intern process, like clean the bathrooms every day and
get the coffees.
Get the coffees. I mean, take the checks to the bank, because this was, before you could just scan it in.
Right. All the stuff you need to know as a mastering engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah, like operational interning. This was not, you're not in the studio. You're not, you were as far, and that aligned with what I was told by my professor in college. Was like, hey, go in there and be invisible. Like,
yeah,
be there when they need you, and be not there when they don't need you, and don't say anything stupid or anything at all. When in doubt, just be quiet.
Yeah, that's it. You don't have an opinion. No one asked you for one.
Yes, and it was great place to get kind of a start, and eventually, once you kind of get through that for a few months. I mean, there was no position. That's another thing I tell people, is like, there was no position open after that, and that they didn't they didn't advertise one. It was just an internship for college credit. There was no like, yeah, and if you get through this, like, then you go to this level, and then we train you and you get this, it just, that
so
doesn't
there was no
exist.
job at the end of
There
this.
was no job. Yeah, there was no job. But anyways, I told him, like, I really wanted to stay. Now, I wasn't there super long. But I did end up being a production assistant for one of the mastering engineers, and that involved setting up session, tearing down the session, doing the production work, assembling the albums, taking ticks and pops and little mouth sounds that aren't there for musical reasons out.
Right.
Fade outs, sometimes spacing between songs, but that was like that, that was it. Like, it wasn't a creative, sexy job or anything, but it was totally. And that also allowed for the engineer to be in his studio mastering another album during that time. So it's really efficient. I really got to see how it works and how a mastering house operates, and then they were like, okay, you can use the room in off hours, and you learn quickly, like, no one's gonna give you work, they're not gonna be like, oh, and here's your first client, master this album, it's 7 songs, the band is from Chicago, and like, that's not how it works. So I learned immediately, you have to go out and get your own clients. And so I was like, oh, how do I get clients? I have no credits.
Right.
Still kind of like blows my mind, honestly, talking about it or thinking about it right now. But I would just go to Arlene's Grocery. I would go to Pianos. I would go to Rockwood. I would go to Mercury Lounge. I would just go out, to shows I didn't even really want to go to necessarily, just to do networking and say, like, hey, or find bands that I thought were cool. I mean, I didn't know anyone in New York. I mean, I maybe knew like a couple of classmates that were also in New York at the same time, but they were doing like different stuff. It wasn't related at all. So, I didn't know anybody, so I just like needed to go out, meet people, I guess you could say. And, so yeah, I just like went to shows, would find bands that I thought were cool. Say, tell them, hey, I'm an assistant engineer at MasterDisc. I would love to show you the place. I know you just put out your album. You're not looking for mastering right now. That's the reality is like, it's sticky. It's sticky out there.
Yeah.
It's not
I could see that approach working really well for a mix engineer, but for a mastering engineer, that's a little bit more difficult.
Well, maybe not even a mix engineer, maybe a recording engineer.
A recording engineer,
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Totally.
Yeah.
And I didn't know.
It's definitely the bit that people don't think about is if you want to do this as a job, you are a salesman and you are a mastering engineer or a recording engineer.
Yep. Yeah, you're the sales team, you're the marketing team.
You are everything.
You're the janitor, you're everything.
You're the accountant,
and you're basically
the scheduler, you're HR.
And you're basically doing
exactly.
door-to-door sales there when you're going from band to band. And
Absolutely.
Especially starting out, And when I talk to, like, I'm still very close with Appalachian State, so I talk to their program like annually.
That's
and
great.
That's one of the first things I tell them. And it does, I do see that look in their eyes sometimes. That's like fear of the unknown,
Who's this guy?
They know it's going to be hard just to be good at this trade that you want to learn. Like, that's hard. Being really good at recording or mixing, it's not easy.
No,
but
it's
also
not.
having like the social skill to go out and hang. Somebody called it like the art of the hang or something. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I've heard that before too.
Lee talked about it, didn't he? About being on tour.
Lee did talk about it.
The people you want to be on tour with are the people who are easy to hang with. You can be a better guitarist or a better bass player, but you'd prefer to be on tour with the person who's an easy hang.
100%. Yeah. You don't do yourself any favors by being a jerk, So yeah, I would just, and no one taught me that. No one really showed me a roadmap necessarily of how to do it, but I was just like, what's the best way to get bands in here? I guess I need to go meet some bands, at least start there. Actually, there was this one client, this was really early, and I did get this record actually, but I was like a fan of this band, and I saw on Twitter that they had posted, just finished mixing the album. And I was like, oh my God, they have a new album coming out. And I DM'd the label and was just like, hey, my name's Dan. I'm in New York. I work at MasterDisc. They did Zeppelin 4. I'm like name dropping records that were done in the 80s.
Man. You got to.
I'm like, Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run. Like,
you're selling yourself.
Born in the USA. So, and she's like, you didn't work on any of those records, so why are you even talking about that? She was like, really?
That's kind of brutal.
Yeah, it was brutal. And I was like, you're right. Why am I talking about that? But I didn't know better. I was green as hell. I was like the greenest guy in New York City, just like bright-eyed and trying to learn everything I could and meet people and, be myself in the process. And, but yeah, you just kind of stumble through it. And I started to bring all my first records were just friends from college. It was just like bands from App State that, were huge in Boone, North Carolina, but like, not household names or anything like that, respectfully. Cause I love all those people, but yeah, like that's how I started. And, so when you're like the assistant engineer at a studio like that, you know, it's like a position that doesn't even exist. You're just like after hours. One of the first things they gave me was, and this was really valuable, and I will do this in the future as well if I ever have like an assistant or something. It's just great practice. They would give me like a few masters that were done in the room that I was assisting in, and the pre-master, the mix, you know, which you don't have access to that unless, you know, you run a mastering facility or something, like, you know, maybe a mixing facility. But that's not just like something you can just do. You know, you need to have the pre-master, and the reference, you know, and the final master. And so what that allowed me to do was, and they didn't give me the EQ sheets either. So it was like, here's the desk, here's the final product, here's the mix. Try to match the master that we gave them.
Amazing.
Wow. Okay, so it wasn't just here's a before and after, so you can kind of hear the difference. It's match or beat.
Do it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, match or beat. Although I wasn't really like trying to overshoot the mark either, because this was, you know, full on loudness wars were full on. Bloodbath going on during this period. So you didn't want to be the guy overshooting either, and like the thing's imploding and you're the too loud guy. That was like, you didn't want to be that guy. So I wasn't really looking to necessarily beat it, at least on the meters, but definitely was trying to get as close as possible. And that also helped me learn the gear. You know, it's like, it kills like 5 different birds with the same stone. It's like, you know, you're training your ears, you're learning the gear, you're doing the thing from start to finish. They had deadline, you know, they're like by Monday, you know, these 3, and they're totally different songs, different genres. And I don't know, it was intimidating at the time, but like, what a cool little homework assignment.
Yeah.
And,
sounds amazing.
Yeah. And hard to replicate, but you know, nowadays it's like, well, I'm never going to get the Dua Lipa mix unmastered version, but I can listen to the master a billion times on Apple, you know, and reference it best I can. But I'm never going to master that exact song in that key mixed, you know, here's the pre-mix version 2.3, you know, or whatever it is. It's hard to replicate that. So anyways, I just, that was really cool. And that got me going and just mastering my friends' records. And I've just been doing that, you know, ever since. I just, I
never stopped.
I never stopped. I did mix some stuff during that period in the early days of New York, because I was just like, what am I going to say no? You know?
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
But I did get to a point, I think it's worth mentioning here maybe for someone listening. I did get to a point where I found it was crucially important to pick one and just stick with it and be known for that thing.
Yeah.
And for me, that was mastering. And for some other people, it's mixing. For some other people, it's production. For some other people, that's just playing guitar solos on other people's songs. Like, whatever it is, I think there's a huge benefit to, niching down and being focused on this one thing. Yeah, specialization. I know that's been mentioned probably on this podcast before, but
no. Well, I don't know that it has, but it's really, really sage advice and one that's hard to take, you know, even for myself. I like to do lots of different things, and it's frustrating when I'm not really great at any of them, because I want to be great at all of them, but that's really tough to do. And the point is, maybe, you know, someone like me needs to niche down.
I think
And
nobody's
I'm not the only one.
I think nobody's sort of come out and said it on the podcast, but when you look at the people we've had on the podcasts, they are all known for a thing. They are not all known for everything. You know, whether it's Ian Shepherd or
Exactly.
you know, or Warren or you know, whoever it is. Lee, you look at I mean, Lee talked about it all the time. You know, Lee is a touring musician at sort of the main thing of what he does, and that's what he does. He goes on, you know,
live musician,
musician, and I think almost without any of them saying, "Oh, I had to get to a point where I found the thing that I wanted to do, and I just did the thing." That's what they've all done. They all just do the thing.
Now, with that being said, though, somebody like, and we're going to talk about Lee since he's friends with Dan and myself, and you know, we'll make him embarrassed here while we're chatting about him. He's also very good at being a producer and a recording engineer and a mixing engineer. So he's dynamite at those things. And in fact, when we can, we'll have Lee back on to talk about those things from his perspective. But he, you know, maybe he's somebody who is an exception to the rule, is that he's really great at all of those things.
Maybe he's found multiple niches, or you know, he's got multiple focuses. Like all of us have recorded, mixed, mastered, done live shows, you know, but like Ben, you specialize in playing the drums and mastering.
Yeah.
Nate, you produce and mix, and I do live music. Once in a while I used to produce. But we all kind of found our little, like,
That's true.
I do this more often. I'm better at this than I am at this.
You excel at
Yeah.
I think it also comes down a little bit to the sort of personality you are. Cause I think, certainly for me, I mixed a few albums for, as you know, friends, people I knew, that kind of thing. And I realized very quickly, I didn't want to do that. There's too many moving parts. There's too many almost decisions you have to make on every,
oh my gosh,
you know, 16, 20 drum tracks. By the time I've done 5 drum tracks, I'm like, okay, I'm absolutely done with drums now. I don't want to hear another drum, even as a drummer. And then you get, you know, oh, I've got 9 lead guitar tracks. And I'm like, okay, I haven't got that. I learned very quickly that for me, I just don't have the patience to mix a song. It's just, whereas if I've got the two, you know, the stereo mix of that song, love it. Right, now, how can we enhance that, make it better? Kind of give it a bit more space, give it a bit more clarity. And I'm in. I don't want to ever have to go back to mixing 64 tracks to get
it can be daunting. I'll tell you that much. It can be daunting. And Dan, you're not missing anything. Like, so.
Oh, I know, man. I was doing it. I was probably still offering mixing up until like 2012.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude. And I would get smoked by like real mixers, you know, and it's like, oh shoot, if I'm going to do this, I need to commit to this and be like, have that dog in me, you know, and like just, and be passionate about it. And I felt that about mastering.
That's awesome that you recognize that. Because a lot of people don't, you know, they just sort of say like, well, you know, I'm not great at any of these things, so I'll quit. You know, I'll go do something else.
Sure. And you know, for me, it's I love the process. It's so enjoyable for me, but also when the clients are happy and it's like, that's a wrap, folks. I don't know, like, if you've ever worked on like a film or something and they're, you know, the last scene, they shoot the last scene and then they all go to a wrap party and like have this huge like celebration. That's maybe kind of the equivalent.
Haven't done film, but I did theater in college. So
yeah, the last
show.
Yeah, the last
giant
show
party
on Sunday, Sunday night or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, huge rager. And everyone is super relieved. I mean, that's probably like the closest equivalent, you know, in the music production. I'm sure like when you wrap a recording, you know, a week of recording and stuff is a good feeling, you know. Mixing, I don't know that they have a finish line like that with mixing, because it's like,
no,
I might kick something back, or they might realize something is not right and have to, you know, I kind of, I don't know that mixers get that, but they, you know, maybe when they come to the mastering session,
the famous line is mixes aren't done, they're abandoned. Right.
So when you finish an album, it's like, and when I first started, I was handing a CD. I was printing a label, you know, in the machine and putting the, you know, folding the thing and putting it in the jewel box and handing. They were walking out with it. Now it's way less impersonal, I guess. And I try to make it personal, but it's like an email or a text.
But you're the last person to touch the songs. So when you release that, you're right. You were just with that song. That's your
officially
baby, right?
The next step is duplication. It's in the wild.
But if you were like the producer or the recording engineer at the beginning, and now it's
totally out of the loop.
Yeah,
like you're not in the CCs anymore. You're like you got BCC'd somewhere along the line, and it's like, you're like, oh, the record's done, awesome.
And it's a year later.
You cut track 7. It's not now. It's tracks. You know, now track 7 is track 6. You know,
and it's well over a year later. And,
right.
Everyone's forgotten about it. Yeah,
right.
So I'm sure that a lot has changed since those days at MasterDisc when you were starting to stand up on your own, right? Mostly hardware. I'm sure pretty much all hardware at MasterDisc. But now, what? You're in the DAW completely? You're in the box?
Yeah, I'm fully in the box right now. For multiple reasons, you know. But my biggest reason is customer focused. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like I need to provide the best service I can provide, and speed is important. And it takes too long to jump on the Q train or wait for the Q train, ride it into Manhattan, you know, book the studio time, wait until the owner is out of the room so I can get in the room at 5:00, you know, or I'm going to tell my clients, like, I can do that once the sun goes down. I got you. You know, and just make a big list of stuff to do when I get in. And it's like, and I did that, you know, I did that for a long time. And, but yeah, going to fully in the box, I had actually started to build a vacation rig. I was calling it the vacation rig because I just, you know, I moved to New York City in May of 2010. Like, didn't go anywhere except for home at Christmas, you know. That was it. Like, I was chained to the room I was working in, which was eventually at the engine room. I was only at MasterDisc for like a year. But anyways, I couldn't work fast enough, and I wanted to be able to go on a vacation and not have this FOMO that like a big name that I was trying to work with maybe was going to call like the day I was flying out of town, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's like how
Absolutely.
It will happen, you know.
Yeah, totally.
It's like leave the umbrella, you know, bring an umbrella and it won't rain, you know, like leave the umbrella home, it's definitely going to rain. So I built like this vacation rig in 2019, and I started like getting that dialed in, and then I went on a vacation. It was cool. But then like 6 months later, you know what happened. Yeah. And New York City was hit so hard by the pandemic, and we were just like, you know, we were bound to our apartments. This was like we're wiping off our groceries with Clorox wipes and stuff. You know, it was like scary. You know, we had to stay inside, and fortunately, I had built my little vacation rig, and it was like HD 600s, an interface, an iLock.
It was literally a lifesaver, man. Like,
literally.
In the nick of time.
I couldn't go to the studio. Like, I legally wasn't allowed in the building was closed. Mm-hmm. So, and coincidentally, the demand went up for mastering. I mean, Ben, I'm sure you had I'm not unique in that everyone got to stay home and everyone was making recordings in their bedroom. Is like, well, we still need to get this thing mastered, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that need didn't dissipate for sure.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I noticed is that the volume coming out of artists went up during the pandemic.
Oh my gosh! The amount of new music that was happening in those first 2 years was incredible. It was hard to keep up.
It was amazing how quickly artists figured out they can do it at home, with a bit of knowledge and maybe some help from someone they trust as an audio engineer and hold on, I can record my guitar sat in my lounge, and I can I can put some duvets up in a cupboard, and I've got a makeshift vocal booth that will do. And you know what? They churned out music.
Is that about the time that the AI or Lander and AI mastering programs came out?
That might have started coming out a little before then.
But I'm sure they picked up a lot of traction.
Yeah. Oh my god!
During that time, for sure.
Definitely.
Now, because Ozone mastering was available before then, and I used that when I was first starting out. So that was available before the pandemic.
We've had this conversation, Nate. Stop calling it Ozone mastering. Ozone's algorithmic addition of some EQ and leveling. Please stop calling it mastering.
Hold on, I need to call my mastering engineer. Hi, Ozone?
Exactly my point. Just tell it what you want. Explain exactly how that's not exactly what you were looking for, and could it make some small tweaks for you?
Yeah,
see how that goes as a mastering engineer.
Absolutely, but 2 years into this, Nate did not know the difference. It just sounded better and louder. So I was like, "Sweet, done." Yeah,
yeah.
But
ask it how it makes. Ask it how the song makes it feel.
That's exactly the point.
Did it move you?
That's funny.
No, but yeah, that was when I kind of I mean, before that I was a hybrid. I was in the box and out the box. I was using the engine room mastering console, and it was an analog chain, Manly mastering transfer desk with a bunch of cool, tube and solid state stuff, and sharing that room with some of my old MasterDisc colleagues too, who came over. Nice. Andy Van Det in particular, who I cherish, knowing, just a great guy. And yeah, I was working that way, like partially analog, partially in the box. And then when COVID happened, it was like, you're sort of forced to stay in, and I just needed to stay busy, like mental health, just trying to navigate the situation and
keeping some normality.
Stay alive. Yeah. Like this was before we knew what we know now. It was like horrific.
Yeah.
We were banging on pots and pans at 7 p.m. every day. I
remember seeing that on the news. Yeah.
To thank the healthcare people. I mean,
we had the same thing here. We just went outside and clapped for.
Yeah, man.
For our NHS service.
It's almost hard to even talk about.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's what happened, and for what I'm thankful that I was in a position that I was in, and I had already done a decade plus worth of going to Arlene's on a Sunday night at 11 p.m. when it's raining and I really didn't want to go, or going to Rockwood and seeing 6 bands and only one of them really like interested me maybe to work with, or, you know, just that legwork of networking and meeting people and meeting other mix engineers, meeting other music producers, meeting just people doing stuff in the record business, that I was able to continue paying my bills and stuff. Yeah. And getting, you know, simultaneously really, really good at mastering in the box, and like refining my process there, and just so, and also now I can provide sort of a better service, because if somebody has a 911, hey, we just decided to cut track 7 and track 6 needs a longer fade, like, no problem. Oh, and we're uploading it today. No problem. Save what I'm working on. Open that session.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Delete that song. Relabel the thing. You know, like, boom. Okay, it's uploading now. And people are like, what? It's uploading now? Like, thank you so much. You know, that means a lot to people when you're providing a service for people. They, you know, you want to blow them away. You know, that's how you get repeat clients.
Definitely.
You know, they trust you. Right? Yeah, they trust you. They know you're gonna be there for them, you know, and
but not too available, right? You don't always want to be waking up at 2 a.m. and jump into a session unless it pays sufficiently well. I imagine.
For sure.
I don't know.
For sure. Everything like within
reason,
context,
within limits.
And yeah. I mean, I set boundaries. You know, I have boundaries that I try to set, but you know, for the most part, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I was. You say that you have like a no template approach. In this day and age where you're trying to be quick and everything like that. When you say no template, like, do you ever use a template with like, okay, so if you're mastering an entire album, right, and you have multiple songs that you kind of want to flow together, do you ever make a template for that for that particular album? So when you get to the next song to master it, do you, or is the no template like specifically for? Can you explain
the project as a whole? Yeah,
I'm happy to.
Perfect sense, Neil.
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. And basically what I mean by that is I start from scratch, you know, like if it's let's just say it's a 10-song album. Mm-hmm. I do not know what limiter I'm going to use. I do not know what EQs I'm going to use. Am I going to use a de-esser? Am I not going to use a de-esser? Whatever. I don't know. Okay. I start with nothing. You know, I just import all the songs and listen to them. Like I don't run it through this thing every time, or, you know, I don't have any template or, you know, presets or anything like that. It's
like a blank canvas. Like
exactly.
You're an artist with a blank canvas and you're just ready to paint.
Making this unique thing. You know,
you don't even know what paints you're going to use. You're just
one of one. Yeah.
Nice.
Exactly. Okay. And I just start from scratch. And, you know, what I usually do, actually, I'm infinitely curious about this, what other mastering engineers do, but I usually just pick what I think is the best sounding song. I mean, Ben, I'm actually, if we could just tangent, like how do you start an album? Like, do you pick the best sounding song, or
I like this. No, it's a really interesting thing for me, because we've touched on this before, and it answers your question, I think. So I used to say to clients, do you have sort of reference tracks that are things you're hearing, that sort of, and
sure.
And I've stopped doing it, because I stopped doing it purely because the bit I like is I get these tracks in, I've chucked them all into my DAW, whatever, or pull them all up, and I just listen to them all, and I get an idea of what I think they were aiming for, not them saying, oh yeah, I wanted it to sound like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And then you listen to it and you go, it doesn't sound anything like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So
you just get let down every time.
It's just like, what was the point of asking this question?
Like that.
But what you do is I pull them all up, and I tend, usually they'll send me the play order of the order they want the album in. I then usually listen to each song and find the one I like most, and that's the one I start with. And once I get that to sound how I want, then I work on the rest of the album using that as my starting point. But it's interesting you say you start with a blank canvas, because I'm exactly the opposite. And I know that sounds really lazy, but I've got probably, so I've got on my master chain, I've got the tape emulation that I always use because I just think it sounds nice. I've got 2 compressors that I have set up so that what I do is I know that when my signal chain comes through to that point, if it's at the right level, they'll be doing roughly this. So I can immediately get a gauge on how my gain staging is looking before we get into, okay, and then I do have a couple of different limiters I use depending on, because, so controversially, I don't like the FabFilter L Pro.
The Pro L2?
Pro L2. I don't like it. Don't like what it does to the top end. I don't know.
Fair.
Really?
I love all their stuff. Their
their
EQ is unbelievably good. But I don't like the Pro L2.
For some reason, controversy.
It's all good, man.
Controversy indeed.
It does something to the top end. I don't know what it does to the top end, but whenever I've picked it up and I've put it on there and I've gone, I don't like,
all right.
I don't like it.
What's your favorite limiter, Ben?
What
do you pick?
I need to go get some popcorn or something.
So I flip-flop. I do like the Ozone limiter. I do think they make a really good limiter. And I do like the Tokyo Dawn. What is it? Tokyo TDL?
Tokyo Dawn Labs.
Yeah.
I don't know what their limiter's called yet.
I think it's really good. They're the 2 I find myself going for.
What about you, Dan? What's your limiter or limiters of choice?
I love the Pro L2, but
it's interesting.
I'm not trying to juxtapose to you or anything like that.
No.
I
mean, I know I'm in a minority of everyone I talk to.
No. It's just versatile. You know, it's being able to change the attack and release time and the look ahead and the different engines. I would say that I lean mostly towards the transparent engine. Yeah. And that was called transparent.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But actually, I'll tell you a funny thing about the Pro L2 is I get sometimes like mixers will include their like a screen. I'm sure they do this with you too, Ben. But like you'll get the mix and the loud pass. Whatever that might be, that could be a bunch of stuff. That could be just a limiter or whatever. But they'll send you like the screenshot, and if I get a Pro L2, if the mixer used the Pro L2, they always have it on the default setting, like the setting that it opens on.
That's all you need, isn't it? You just install the plugin and hit go.
Oh my god,
that's what I do.
That is chaos.
Yeah,
that setting is not where it's
good.
at. No. Maybe it's good if you're just like in a hurry and need to just throw something on quick, but that's just not a situation I'm ever in myself. But I like being able to dial in that limiter. I like the Ozone limiters, the 8 in particular. That's maybe the Ozone Maximizer that I would use the most is the 8. I haven't psychotically done a bunch of testing or anything, but I do like, that's kind of the start of my process is maybe, like you said, the reverse of maybe the way you start is like I'll start by just shooting out limiters and seeing what limiter kind of vibes with the song that I chose. Also, I was going to back up. Sometimes I don't have a choice in what song I start with. That was actually the more realistic answer, but if I'm given the option, if I'm just starting from scratch and the band just trusts me and just do the album, I'll probably pick maybe the best song that I think, because I'm going to listen to it like a billion times.
A lot.
Right?
Yeah.
How am I going to pick like track 9, the 40 BPM piano ballad? Like, I'm not starting with that.
No.
And I'll just like kind of vibe with it, and I'll shoot out limiters, see which maybe narrow it down to a couple. It's not uncommon to have the Pro L2 and maybe the Isotope right next to each other, and one's muted and one's not, and then I mute the other one and unmute the other.
Sure, absolutely.
I've been down that road.
That makes
especially
sense.
I think. One of the crazy things, and I don't know, I can't even back this up with any fact, is my gut instinct is that I do find myself leaning. I found the L2 is in like a good rock situation, seems to fit better. The Ozone, the Isotope one just seems a bit too smooth at times. Like so I do, you get yourself in almost like into a mindset of, I just use this limiter. And then occasionally I'll just think, well, I'll just try a different one. And you go, whoa, where did that come from?
Totally different, right?
Totally different. Yeah.
Yeah. I am fully aligned with you on that. I do know that certain genres of music maybe don't sound as good going through one or the other.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be careful here because I don't want to like get edited down to like an 8-second clip of me just like saying something bad about somebody.
I wouldn't do that to you, Dan.
But you know what I mean? Like, certain genres just sound better. And that's the other thing I like about the Fab filters, the different engines. I love all around. I don't know if anybody else listening loves that one too, but all around is like probably my favorite. But transparent, if I'm not trying to if I want to be like as invisible as possible, and I can dial it in, each the tempo, the what kind of production, what are the drums like in this, or is there sustaining guitars? Where's the vocals sit? There's all sorts of variables that go into it, and I don't know that I could guess. Sometimes I've gone into stuff thinking I was going to use this and this, and that wasn't the thing, and I just so that was kind of like the concept of not using templates, not using a chain. In those rooms I've worked in where I have an analog chain, for the most part they have the chain set, and you can get on the Z-Sys router and change the order and stuff, and I did that, and that was cool, and that was like such a great way to learn mastering and do my first decade. That was like I wouldn't trade that for anything. But now I'm like in my second decade, and
there's more flexibility with the
sure.
in the box,
and all the rules have gone.
Yeah, and I don't feel as imposter syndrome-y as I used to. I still, although I do suffer from it, like anyone does.
Everybody does.
Absolutely.
You just like wake up some days and you're just like feeling low.
Dude,
it happens.
I had that earlier this week, man.
It's totally like a normal thing.
It was really bad.
But it doesn't affect my decisions on what I do when I'm mastering songs for people. So, and I like the flexibility. And the other thing is, some songs, and this goes into that, serve the song concept, which I didn't make that up. I've heard infinite mastering engineers, mix engineers. Serve the song. That is not, I didn't come up with that. It's just.
But it's good work to work
way.
by.
Yeah, what a great methodology. It's
1,000%.
Yeah. If you get a mix that is 100%, like you can't anything you do to this mix is just going to take away some vibe or some magic. Like, you don't know how it was done. It doesn't honestly matter, but you get a mix and it's like, this is 100% the perfect mix. Don't do anything to it.
Yeah.
You know, part of the job is knowing when not to do stuff, you know? So, now
have you gotten a mix to master where all you did was just bring the volume up a little bit?
Right. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's just do a fade out at the end, you know, and bounce it, like, and clean up the 3 seconds of dead space at the front. Like, that is serving the song.
Yeah.
You know, if it's 97% there, your job is to take it that final 3%. That is serving the song. Maybe that's just adding a little air and adding a half a dB of limiting to it or something. Oh, I was going to say the Oxford limiter. I kind of vibe with that too.
That stuff's really nice.
Yeah. I love Oxford stuff. Anyways, that's serving the song. You know, a lot of indie bedroom stuff could be 80% there, could be 65% there. I don't know. We don't have to like get it math involved in it or anything, but like
Ben loves math.
You know, you know what I'm saying? Like you can hear it, and that's part of being a mastering engineer is like assessing mixes, knowing kind of what the finish line should sound like if we're taking into consideration, you know, everything, the genre, and like, you know, kind of where other stuff in that world is coming out. Those types of considerations, and then being able to advise your client on how to maybe make their mix a little better if they're open to that.
Well, in an ideal world, they'll approach you first and say, hey, you know, we want to have you master this, but is it ready? But if you get a project to master and you're like, this is 60% there at best, do you kick it back to them and say, it's not ready, here are the things you need to address? They didn't ask you for that. So what do you do in that situation?
It's so tricky. I'm still kind of figuring out the right verbiage for this. But to answer your question, I have started kicking stuff back. Part of the reason is logistical. Like, I'm super busy now. And like, first of all, you have to wait a little bit to get your song mastered. Right. And like, I didn't used to have a wait, you know, like back when I was starting, it was like, I could do it today. I got you, you know, like I could do this in the morning for you, you know, like I don't have that luxury anymore. So I have to be kind of intentional about scheduling and taking other clients' deadlines into consideration, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, that's more of like an office logistics kind of problem that everyone has. But basically, I will assess the mix to kind of get an idea of where they're at. And I'm not giving them creative feedback. I'm not like, oh, you know, like, interesting, F sharp, like,
right,
like,
yeah.
You know, I'm not
this
giving
is all technical points on.
I'm for the most part
issue you're hearing.
Yeah. I'm for the most part giving it like the quick. Okay, this is going to need some work. This is doable. This is doable, but I better not book 80 other things that same day because I'm going to need to focus on this one. You know, or this is like amazing. Let me schedule this for tomorrow because this is not going to take as long and whatever. But it's those other projects where you're like, damn, like the song could be awesome, but it's just, you know, it maybe sounds like it was done on like their onboard mic on their laptop or something. You know, it's just like, it's just not up for it. It's not ready.
And I think I think one of the challenges as well, and it probably depends where you are in the musical hierarchy, is you probably get a lot of mixes from very good sources. You know, these are top artists who are sending you mixes from top mix engineers. One of the things that certainly I've found is very difficult is I'll get sent a mix, and I might, if I know them well, I'll say, I don't think that's quite ready for mastering because the balance is way out, or you need to do X, Y, Z, or there's a whine in the vocals that you need to take care of. And they'll say, oh, well, we've paid the mix engineer and we don't really talk to him anymore.
We can't go back.
We can't go back.
Yeah.
And that is a real, you're then like, okay, well,
yeah, there's that too.
I'll
that happens.
work with what I've got, right? You know, this is,
that
we'll
happens.
make it work.
That totally happens. You know, I really respect the, I think Ian said this, and I know that some of my other mastering colleagues work on the mentality of they intended to send this exactly the way they sent it. They worked so hard on it, and you know, who am I to say that they didn't? And that's how they sent it, and that's what they want mastered, and the end. Like, I respect that, and I also am not trying to quote your previous guest either. I just I've heard other mastering engineers say stuff like that, and that is totally valid. And I respect that. I think my methodology is a little bit of a hybrid philosophy of like, yeah, I do that as well. I assume that they intended the song to sound this way, and I intend to not disrupt it, you know, make it a little better. If that's all it needs, I'll just try to enhance it a little bit, you know. But I also, it's not even like a moral thing. It's just like, I feel bad booking someone for mastering when I know that they're not ready for mastering. So if I hear something, I QC it. I just do a 30-second QC. If you know, maybe I listen to the whole song, but I'm just like, oh man, you know, maybe they're mixing it themselves. I'll request a phone call, and I'll just say, hey, like, where, you know, what's your vision for this? So like, I'm not gaslight, you know, I'm not gonna, they might have a unique vision, who, you know, and I just need to be kind of clued into that. That's fair. Yeah. I'm into it. But you know, if it's like, I can't hear the vocals and it's just like blown out and messed up, I need to find out if that was in fact intentional. Yeah. I'm not going to like charge them $150, master their song, send it back. That'd be another $150. You know, I'm not that guy. So
like, did you mean to bury the vocal? Is that like a stylistic thing?
Exactly.
I mean, like, cause that is a thing. Like back in the 90s, the vocal was more buried in a lot of rock music.
Yeah,
totally. And, I have those conversations. And I do it on the phone usually. I'm pretty adamant about jumping on the phone. I know there's like a generational thing, you know, some people don't like talking on phone. They're like, just text me. Why is this guy calling me? God forbid you leave somebody a voicemail. Oh my God. Don't leave a voicemail.
How do I access that again?
Yeah. But I think it's more efficient on the phone. You know, you can hear my voice. You can tell, like, I genuinely care about your song. Yeah. And if something is off, I think it's more productive to just flag it. If that's what they intended, cool. All right. Next Tuesday at 10 a.m. I'm mastering this song for you. And if it's like, oh no, like, this is my first time doing this, and you start to unpeel some stuff that they didn't share in the email, and they're like, no, like, you know, I went to school for this, and this is my first self-produced EP or something. It's like, oh, you came to the right place. Like, thank you for considering me. Let's do it, and we'll schedule time and talk about the mixes, and see if we can improve them. If it's the kind of client where they're not mixing themselves, or maybe they're like, yeah, my cousin went to this school and does this and it's not that good or whatever, I would just be like, hey, would you be open to a call with my buddy Jim Stewart?
Right.
Can I get you on the phone with Jim Stewart tomorrow? And that, I will connect someone with a mixer.
Yeah.
Or whatever, that's kind of my thing. I don't want to just book it and master it and bill it and, just keep going around, because I'll lose steam on the thing. And I'm
Right.
really fresh on it. Like, I commit to that song, and I'm trying out different limiters and EQs, and I just if I got to redo it from scratch again, you know what I'm saying? I'm starting from scratch again, but I knew the mix was going to get remixed. It's just, I don't have time, and
Yeah.
it's just better. And I think people truly appreciate that.
Yeah.
That extra time and that extra communication. I want my clients to be able to, they have my number. They can text me directly. They don't have to talk to the front desk person and take a message and blah, blah, blah. I've been in that sort of situation, and that totally is cool.
Very
but
impersonal.
my thing is, my thing is personal. And
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And that's
the way to go. I mean, in a world of AI and talking with people, not in the room, even if you're not meeting with these people, giving them that personal sort of attention, that personal touch to, what is a disconnected process nowadays, really, making it feel like you're in the room with them, hearing them, really hearing them.
Well, that also makes them feel
It goes a
special
long
too,
way.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. And let's say, and let's apply that concept to just a run-of-the-mill mastering engineer, right? They're just trying to excel at what they do. They're not trying to win awards. They're just trying to, pay the bills and pursue their art. Even if you don't turn in the most pristine, top-notch, master, giving somebody that personal attention, going the extra mile in your service, is going to be worth more than, the best master in the world, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's all about people working with people, isn't it? That's at the end of the day.
It's providing a service.
Yeah. And that's,
I mean, you're in the art of customer service, Dan. You just happen to be a top-notch mastering engineer at the same time.
Thank you, brother. I literally, it all comes back to the artist or the client, the customer. If you want to look at it from a business perspective, it is client focused.
yeah.
I'm not focused on competitors, quote unquote.
Right.
I'm not focused on what anyone else is doing. The only person that I'm focused on is the artist that I'm working with, or the producer, or the mixer, whoever it is that brought me this song. That is, that's who I'm serving.
Yeah.
That is the whole thing in a nutshell. Serve the song. It doesn't matter whose song it is. It doesn't matter what continent they're from or what genre of music it is. And that's another thing that I'm really lucky is, I think going to App State and being, getting a music degree and being classically trained,
Mm-hmm.
I love all genres of music. I'm working with a client in India. I'm working with a client in Buenos Aires. I'm working with a client in Cleveland, Ohio, Nashville, Tennessee, Istanbul, Turkey.
Amazing.
All of the songs sound completely different. Couldn't be more different. And I love that. And I do know, and it's just of course, it happens to people. If you do, if you do just a bunch of big rock album, or let's go even more niche than that, like heavy metal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get a ton of heavy metal stuff. The heavy metal world is like kind of small.
I'm sure it's pretty small.
You know?
Yeah.
And like, if you don't do heavy metal every day, you don't do heavy metal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like those guys, it's like, it's a very close knit group of professionals. From what I can tell. I mean, I
think you're absolutely right.
I'm not saying they're not welcoming of other people. I'm just saying, like, who gets hired to mix all of those records? It's like the same 10 people.
And they use the same mastering engineers and the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you go to the Grammys and you'll see, they'll, they flash it up on the screen and they'll show you the credits on some of these awards that are coming up, and it'll be like, you'll just read the same name and you're like, oh my God, like the guy mixed 4 of the 5 nominees in this category. He's probably winning a Grammy.
It's like Pop and Serb and Guinea, right? It's like he mixed every single song that you love every year. Real quick, what's it like being at the Grammys, man? What's that like?
Yeah.
The Grammys, it's cool. It's definitely like exhilarating, definitely kind of intimidating for me. You know, I'm like, should I bring binoculars? Because I'm sitting in the back row, like,
while winning my Grammy.
It's humbling. Yeah. I mean, it's out of the 15 things that I'm credited working on that have been nominated, one has won, and that is like incredible to me. I mean, that is
one
shocking.
More than anything that I've done.
I think the fact you've just gone only one has won. I mean, the number of people who can say they've won a Grammy
more than a lot of other people.
Yeah, that's amazing,
totally,
man.
Yeah. Totally
amazing.
Respect that. Yeah, no, I totally. But there's also like 14 times that they say another artist's name, and you're like,
it
hurts.
You're that close.
Yeah,
I think 15 time nominated is also something that you should just have a massive billboard written about.
The fact that you're even nominated means
I'd have a T-shirt printed up that says, I've been nominated 15 times. I would wear it every day.
Also, I just want to say this because I'm probably overthinking it, but for what it's worth, I'm not actually been nominated. Like, I have mastered an album that got nominated, and I'm the mastering engineer. But I actually, I just want to say that I know it's probably not the sexiest thing to say, but these are my clients that have been nominated, and I guess I'm. Yeah, I've been a participant on 15 Grammy nominated.
But you've imparted
titles.
your to throw it back at you have imparted your.
Would they have been nominated had you not mastered it?
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. Right?
You never know.
You never know. I don't think that it's unfair for you to say that, yes, I participated in those. I was not directly nominated. But I also think it's fair for you to say, I had a hand in that.
Yeah, it's your art too.
Yeah.
It may not have happened.
Right. And it's 15. When I was like, oh, damn, like this is 15. That's not like a fluke.
No.
No, you're doing something, very intentional and very real.
Totally.
And you talk about each attempt before you won a Grammy, those were steps that you were taking, and every year you could see that you were getting closer and closer, and then bam, you hit it.
Yeah, that is true. Like, again, it goes back to, I don't love like the word hustle. It's just like been so overdone, but the legwork. Of
you're putting the work in.
Putting in the reps. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I have, New York, it's freezing. It rains, it snows, it sleets. It's like disgusting out. And it's Tuesday night, and I got stuff to do in the morning. I got, revisions to do or invoices to send or whatever. I mean, this is like I'm working the job of eight people, and I'm forcing myself to go to Music Hall of Williamsburg at 10:30 p.m., for the late set to see this band that doesn't even know I exist.
Yeah.
I don't have any connection to the band. I don't know the producer. I mean, I can look him up and there he is. I recognize him from Instagram, but what am I just going to walk up to this person and like hand him a business card? Like that is not, that's not what it, so doing that stuff, kind of aimlessly. I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I remember going to South by Southwest and, getting the flu, like at South by Southwest trying to, get more clients or get more prospects, maybe call that prospecting, just
that's exactly what it is.
Sure. Yeah.
Networking.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff, like that over the span of a decade. And then, I can't stop. Like that's another thing. I can't stop. I can't just kick back and enjoy this time where my phone rings a lot because, without saying any names, I have seen mastering engineers, mix engineers, music producers who were like killing it that aren't as busy as I think they should be, at least. Knowing how good they are at what they do, I'm shocked.
Did they just stop doing the reps though? Did they just stop putting in the time and the
I think
legwork?
a certain point and they kind of go on autopilot, right?
Yeah, like I don't know exactly.
Or could it be that they're in a location where there's not as much work? You talk about New York. It's rainy, it's wet, but on a Tuesday you can go see a show and network.
It's an awesome band,
right? Where I live in Florida, the weather is hot and
we've
nice
discussed
out.
this. Always sunny.
It's got
300 and something days of freaking sunshine. Oh, it sucks.
Right. Oh, it sounds awful.
Right.
But in my city where I live in, there's barely any venues for live music. I have to travel an hour usually to get to a venue for me to play. Tuesday night, there's no bands playing on Tuesday nights.
Totally. It's not frictionless anywhere. And that's why, I could make a point for moving into a place like New York, which I consider the greatest city in the world. No disrespect to any other cool cities, but New York is what I chose because of that. It's all the major labels have offices in New York City. All of the, bands aren't skipping New York on their tour. Like every band goes through New York. Bands skip my hometown all the time.
Yeah, sure.
But it's just, you're exactly right, man. I drive
out of my neighborhood and there's a cow pasture.
Totally. You have to put yourself in those rooms to like get lucky and hit it off with somebody, and it's like, oh, the drummer, awesome, perfect. This is one more person than I knew before I came, and you do that like hundreds and hundreds of times. Yeah, and
you met a lot of people.
Yeah, I just kept networking, and I have to continue that. I mean, I have to continue that. I'm saying it here like publicly, like I am not gonna stop doing that because I just, you can't rest on your credits. You have to keep going and keep going, and you might get like a big run of like. For me, I'm doing some pretty cool jazz albums and some pretty cool hip hop records and some pretty like really cool rock bands and stuff. But if I just stay in my studio for the next 10 years, I promise you I won't be as busy 10 years from today as I am today.
Absolutely.
And that's
this totally mirrors what we talked about in the February episode, going to NAMM, talking about getting out of your studio, going and meeting people, whether it's once a year or once a month or once a week, you got to do it. And you're proof of that, Dan. You know, you have killed it, and you've achieved what so many people have worked their entire lives to achieve, and you've done it. So congratulations to you, man. Like that's
so nice, man.
That is incredible. And I think that anyone who wants to be a musician, a mastering engineer, a mixing engineer, a producer, whatever, the same principles all apply.
Totally.
And so yeah, thank you, Dan, for coming on to our podcast
and
telling us your story.
Yeah.
This is really incredible. 2 quick questions before we go.
Softball questions.
Wrap it up. Softball question.
Perfect.
He brought the hat
out.
What is your favorite plugin? Desert Island cannot live without.
You're only allowed one.
Which is a hard question because you have that template.
This is like this is the stumper.
It's like
No,
I
it's
don't
so
know.
good. Yeah, no, you might have to delete like 30 seconds of silence.
That's all right.
I mean, I probably said this in our mastermind group, but the Pro Q3 is like I'm taking this on the desert island.
That's like 98%
you
of
guys
what
are
everyone
like
says, yeah.
Pro Q4, and I'm like, do I need that? Like, do I really need it? I'm
haven't
open
upgraded
to it.
yet?
No, I haven't. I'm still on Pro Q3.
That's all right. I see some people doing videos. They're still on Pro Q2.
I mean, those Pro Q EQs are just...
This is amazing.
That's my
They're so
desert
versatile.
island. Like, that's my Swiss Army knife.
Swiss Army knife, yeah.
You know, I need transparent EQ. You know, I just need a solid EQ that doesn't inject
introduce things.
Introduce, like, I'm not going with like this noisy tube thing.
Totally. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Totally with you.
So then the
Pro
other question
Q3.
is, what is your DAW of choice? What are you working in?
Oh, I'm doing WaveLab.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Have you heard of WaveLab?
Oh yeah, that's what I use as well.
Ben uses it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I love WaveLab. Although, I've tried them all. Maybe not all of them, but Pyramix, Sonic, Sequoia, Pro Tools, obviously, like probably leaving out a few. But yeah, I'm on WaveLab. WaveLab is affordable.
Yeah.
It does all the mastering stuff I need it to do,
I think the fact it's pretty much designed as a mastering DAW means it does the mastering things more efficiently than most of the others. I think is the sort of is my position on it. You can do it in all the others, but WaveLab just is kind of built for it, and so makes it easy.
Oh yeah, no, I could do all of the audio processing stuff exactly the same way in Pro Tools. I could do it in, actually probably more efficiently, maybe even in some other DAWs, but because of what you said, and also having the built-in, all the authoring stuff, and also, I mean, this is all like Googleable, so it's not like I'm unveiling some secret thing, but it's just, I was on Sequoia, and Sequoia is like multiple thousands of dollars for a license, and
that's insane.
And I was building my vacation rig. I wasn't even building like a studio rig, I just wanted to be able to go on my family beach trip, and not like maybe miss out on an opportunity of a lifetime to work with some artist that I mean, that's just hypothetical. Like that, it doesn't happen. Like we said, you bring the rig and that call doesn't come in. But, you know, I just needed the vacation rig. So I was like, what's like sort of equivalent, does the same stuff, works on a PC. Wavelab was what I went with, and I'm very happy that I did that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
I have one softball question.
Oh, please.
You said that you were in a band at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I like to ask, what was the name of your first band?
The Jalapenos.
Yes.
That's awesome.
It's a good band name.
Sounds fucking spicy.
Yeah, that's a great name.
Ask about us. Yeah.
Jalapenos.
If you lived in Charlotte, it's funny. I've said this to people that lived in Charlotte in like 2005, and they're like, never heard of you, which is so funny. Because that's the reality. We were all like 17 and thought we were, you know, I thought I was going to be like the next Joe Perry or something, you know, like I was like, we're going to be rock stars, man.
Yeah. We all did at 17. That's
and it's funny you mentioned Chili Peppers, because like everyone would be like, so you guys are like super into the Chili Peppers, right? And it was just, we just thought Jalapenos was a funny name. We're just like, it's cool.
Good band name.
Yeah. And we spelled it with an H.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
You know, and we like worked, you know, like some peppers into our like album art. I mean, it, you know, we were committed.
It's fun.
It was
fun.
super fun. Yeah. Yeah. The Jalapenos. Awesome. I was, I guess I was the lead guitar player and like the co-lead vocal.
There you go.
Nice.
You know, and yeah, we played a lot of covers, but we also, we made a record of like, actually, I don't remember how many songs it was, but you know, all originals. And that was like my first time being in a studio. And
oh man, I smell a hunt coming on. We have to go find that record.
I've got like 490 unopened. You can have 15 copies of it if you want.
He had 500 made, and he's got 490.
My dad's like, anybody want any of these? Like,
I want one.
What's it called? Disc makers. You know,
disc makers.
We use disc makers. It's cellophane. It's got a barcode. It's
wow. Nice.
All right, Dan, we are officially out of time, but man, thank you so much for being here today.
It's been amazing.
Thank you.
This has been a really great conversation, and thank you for bringing your story to us. This was great.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and I hope I didn't ramble too much.
No, it was awesome.
No, it's great. Awesome. It's perfect.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, guys.
Hi, thanks for listening to this episode of Sound Discussion. You can find out more about today's episode by checking the description area here in YouTube or by going to our website, sounddiscussionpodcast.com. While you're there, subscribe to our mailing list so you can be kept up to date on new episodes, updates from the team, and additional content only available to newsletter subscribers. And as always, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe here on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you so much for taking the time today to sit in on our conversation, and we can't wait to have you back next month for another episode of Sound Discussion.
God forbid you leave somebody a voicemail. Oh my God. Don't leave a voicemail.
How do I access that again?